I figured I would start with one of my favorite new plugins made by GoodHertz, which is called the VULF, VULF compressor. And once again, for the folks at home who are watching this, I would just say write it down, because there's a couple of cool videos that GoodHertz posted online about what it can do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, reading the brief description about it, apparently it was sort of based upon the Boss SP303 sampler.
Yep.
And it's apparently supposed to be the similar algorithm, but just in plugin form. And of course, they expanded upon it.
Yeah.
But what I found is it's just a crazy, first of all, parallel compressor in the extreme over the top mode. It can do subtle, but it's when you put it on and you just go, you put it up to 11 and you're just like, hello, where have you been all my life? It's pretty amazing for that aspect, just to play with the compression. And it also does tape emulation, or it's more of cassette grade tape emulation, which I don't know if you guys, I would run like one of the Denon tape decks. You could hit that thing hard, and then it was actually 4-headed, so you could come off the repro head of it and put it back in, and it was, sometimes you get some really crazy effects out of that.
Yeah.
But so it's kind of like the similar thing is there. And I've also been using it a lot on, example, Wurlitzer or Rhodes. Those are the two piano key instruments that I've always had a hard time trying to fit into a mix. It's just something about their tonal characteristic that doesn't want to sit well unless it's a very stripped down track. And I found using the VULF compressor on those really helps them just push that upper mid forward in a way that, oh wow, now it has its own place, and it's not fighting with the guitar anymore, and I can hear what the part is. So that's great.
Yeah, it's awesome. I discovered it through, I forget what. Wow, I discovered it because some producer sent me a session with it on, and I didn't have it, so I bought it. And and then which is the way, this is the way I discover new plugins right now is oh, what's this? I don't have this. Okay, let me buy it. I use it on trap hats. It's so dope. It basically lets those hats, like all the Lolo Zouai record, the whole album, all the trap hats, all of it is all the VULF compressor on stun. There's one thing about this compressor though, you got to turn the noise off.
Yep.
Because otherwise you can't hear yourself think, it's so noisy. But that's great. That's great. I'm glad you found it. It's a little bit under the radar, but it's a little expensive, but it's really good.
Yeah, it is a very. I would highly recommend going on their website and just checking out, because I think it's one of the inventors. He does a little drum breakbeat loop in his flat. Yeah. And he's just like, he turns it on and off, and it's like whoa. Yeah, and he's part of that Wolfpack crowd of crazy musicians that do crazy stuff. Good for them.
Yeah, it's great. What else you got, my friend?
Well, so I was talking about, we were talking about Dolby Stretch, and I figured, why not talk about the overloud Dopamine, which is their copy of a Dolby A unit for parallel. Especially because he was talking about the Kate Bush thing, and I think the most infamous one that I didn't know about until recently is the Bee Gees' "How Deep Is Your Love." Yep. That vocal sound is Dolby A printed on the multi-track. They just they printed it to the tape. So when they mixed it, it would just be that. And it's such an amazing, I don't know if that song would be as luxurious if it didn't have that Dolby A treatment that you hear every time. It's such a iconic tonal quality, and it is part of the Bee Gees themselves, but it's just sort of just an engineering, how they thought to do that and include that in that particular track was just such an amazing concept. So I started mixing Casey Musgrave's Christmas album, which came out Black Friday of last year. And also it was that Christmas special on Amazon. May or may not have seen it or heard about it, whatever. But the producer told me, he's like, dude, just to warn you, Casey likes her vocals ridiculously bright. Just FYI. And I go, well, I got the treatment. So I immediately just started mixing with the Dopamine as a parallel to get her vocals just to be super, super bright, open and airy. And when I never talked to her directly, so I didn't know, but the producer was like, man, when she heard the mixes, especially her vocals, she was like, dude, this is perfect. Thank you. And so she was really, really happy with the outcome right away.
You know, something that a lot of people don't know is the high band in Sugar is a Dolby Stretch algorithm.
Oh, see, one.
So the high band, the straight one is a straight Dolby Stretch thing, exactly as is, and then but without trying to imitate the circuitry of the Dolby itself. Just the fact that it brings the high end like this in a controlled manner. It's exactly the same thing. And then the one that's called Bright. This hold on, man, it's my plugin. I don't even know the names. You know, when you use it so much, you don't look at the settings anymore.
Yeah, you just
do what you got to do. On this, the second thing next to it is actually that with a little bit of an enhancer, a little bit of maximizer, like a little bit of BBE vibe on it. But the high and all the other bands, the principle was to try something that would give you the same feeling and the same benefits as a Dolby Stretch, but in the other range of the spectrum. So Shine in the high end, Shine is a straight Dolby Stretch, exactly. And then Excite and Sight, the Excite is a little bit of an Aphex like BBE style added onto that process.
Oh, okay. Would you, Fab, the question for the listeners out there, would you recommend doing this as an actual insert on the vocal track, or would you say a parallel as well? Or you
could do both, because we spend a lot of time making sure it's phase accurate. Okay. But I use it on insert.
Yeah.
So sorry to hijack your segment, but that's
no, not at all. I mean, dude, it's always, because for me, it's hey, the Dopamine works on track A, but then I got another artist, and for some reason the Dopamine doesn't sound as good. So let me try Sugar and try the air on Sugar. Oh, this is sitting right. This is great. It's perfect. Yeah. It's just it's just a different screwdriver for the job, right?
Exactly. So what's that blue thing that I don't know?
Okay, so the blue one is called Tokyo Dawn. Hold on, let me look at so I don't butcher their. Yeah, it is. It's called Tokyo Dawn Records or Tokyo Dawn Labs. If you yeah, it's their mastering compressor. If you just go on their website and sign up for an account, you can download this for free.
Okay.
They make a more accessible version, or more features, should I say, is the cost or paid version. Mm-hmm. But quite honestly, if you're looking to do, if you got a mix going on, jazz, let's say you got a jazz record, just maybe a perfect example, and you want a little smidge of control, but you really don't want any coloring whatsoever, this is a great go-to guy to try with first. Just a couple half dB, just a little squeeze to tighten it up, but it's really very clear. You don't hear any coloring. I mean, quite honestly, usually when I mix like pop stuff, I'm looking for an SSL or a Neve. I'm looking for color, but there are times in our where we get things coming across our desk, so to speak. It's like, well, I don't think it needs to be tightened, but I don't want anything extra added to it. I just want it to be very clear and precise. So just letting the guys know out there, hey, if you're looking for, once again, if you want more stuff to scroll through, can't go wrong with this guy.
I'm going to go check it out. Those guys are very creative. They're cool. I like how they market their stuff. I never listened to it. So now I have to go listen.
I know they're how do you stop sharing screen?
I can do it for you.
Oh, cool. I haven't tried their EQ. I know their EQ is very nice as well, as far as like a mastering grade, same thing, very clean. That's good as well. But That's it.